For the past 2 years, I have lived less than a mile away from this view, and at the time, I lived in the village at UCSD as an RA, or resident assistant for transfer students. Upon being hired as an RA, a village supervisor had asked me about the career path I planned on pursuing. In the back of my mind, I remembered how in kindergarten I had wanted to be a dentist, but that was mostly because that's what my parents were. In 4th grade, I had wanted to be a lawyer, but that was mostly because the movie Legally Blonde was just released. In 5th grade, however, I realized how much I enjoyed elementary school and all the people I had met throughout. I can still name every teacher I have had and several things I enjoyed about each grade. I realized that this is a place I would like to come back to, but as a teacher. Ironically, my supervisor mentioned how being an RA relates a lot to being a teacher, and that it would help me on my way to becoming one. At the time, I was like, what? Really? I did not see the connection. But now I do. Upon entering the MED in Teaching Credential program at UCSD, I realized how much teaching related to my RA position, as well as realizing many more reasons as to why I want to be a teacher. Going into the program, I knew there were subjects to be taught and state standards and more to be met, but I was excited to learn how being a teacher involved these aspects. Number 1. Building a classroom community. As an RA, I had a building of college residents to build a community with. It was Building 6. As a student teacher, I was given a 1st grade class and then a 6th grade class, all of which I had to create a respectful and engaging atmosphere where we could have fun and learn together. Number 2. Planning activities that accounted for prior knowledge, cultural background, and student interest. As an RA, I hosted programs like Lunar New Year celebrations that offered food, info, and holiday activities for residents. For some, it was a way to celebrate while far away from home and family. For others, it was their first time learning about New Year's for Asian cultures. As a 1st grade teacher, I hosted a social science lesson for which our class viewed depictions of folklore and compared similarities and differences between New Year's Day festivities for Chinese, Taiwanese, and Korean cultures. Some students were astonished that other countries celebrated New Year's on a different day than the U.S. One student excitedly shared with the class that his family was from Nepal, and they celebrate New Year's in March. Later, though, we all learned that Nepal's New Year's is actually in April. Nonetheless, it was great to see how welcoming the class was to learning about other cultures and sharing their own. Number 3. Interactive modeling. It was not until this year that I realized how important this is to clarifying instructions and confirming understanding. In teaching RAs and students how to make ribbon lays for graduation, as well as in briefing 1st graders on instructions for standing in line, I have seen how effective interactive modeling can be. A mentoring teacher summed up an aspect of interactive modeling in the phrase, "I do, you do, then we do," which has helped me in my lesson planning. Given these experiences, I can see how my supervisor could say being an RA related to teaching. This year, I was a student teacher by day and an RA by night, and I learned how to reflect on past events to improve my practice. Through UCSD's program, I became more aware of teaching strategies that incorporate aspects like art, inquiry-based science, problem-solving, disequilibrium, and technology. Now, I feel more confident that I can use these strategies in my own classroom more purposefully. Having spent time with a range of students as old as college transfers and as young as 1st graders, I welcome the joys and challenges of working with any age group. And now, I am excited to go back to school to spend time teaching and learning alongside students and peers.